You're listening to Highlight Radio on WXTJ, Charlottesville. Today we'll be interviewing Cat.Flp, who's one of my personal favorite musicians and a great friend of mine.
Hi, I'm Cat.Flp. I'm a singer, producer, whatever word you can think of from Ontario, Canada.
Welcome to the show. So, I understand that you've been doing a lot of things through the GOOP HOUSE, which is a Discord server created by Shirin, an incredible friend and person who is at Vampiric Shirin on Twitter. Feel free to check them out if you're interested. And they've created this awesome community of 17,000 plus, or 1,700, my bad, plus musicians. That would be a lot.
That would be a lot.
1,700 plus musicians on a Discord server that creates a collaborative album every month. And I understand you're a Discord mod on that server, and you've been doing a lot with the compilations and creating some songs for it. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Goop House is like everything to me at this point because I've been making music ever since I was probably like 7 or 8, just on like on an iPod and I just like kind of progressed into like actually making music. And for all that time, it was just me on my own making little sounds that I like. And everything kind of changed once I joined Goop House because obviously there's so many people. It's a very community driven thing. So all of a sudden I was making all these music friends and collaborating with people, and it just kinda opened up a whole world. Like, that's the whole reason I'm in this radio show is because of Goop House, like, meeting all these new people and making all these new connections. So, it's just literally, like, made everything for me.
And I understand you were one of the founding members of Goop House, actually. You were there for the first compilation. Tell me a little bit about what it was like at the very start versus where we are now.
Oh, it was really scary, honestly. Even though there was, like, not even that many people there, it was, like, I'm not even kidding because, obviously there's that, like, find a team channel where you can, like, meet up with people, and people took that channel a lot more seriously back then, where, like, now everything's kinda lighthearted, you can just kinda do whatever, but before, it kinda felt like the first day of school, You're, like, trying to find if there's anyone you're trying to make friends, and it almost felt like doing an interview in a way where, I remember someone messaged me and they're like, "Hey, your style kinda sounds cool. Can I send you a track?" And I was like, "Sure." And I remember they sounded like nothing like me, so it was, like, really awkward, but I just remember messaging a whole bunch of different people and trying to see, like, who I could work with. Eventually, I met up with Chaz, who is another mod, and we made a pretty cool song, but it was a very new and scary experience just because there was nothing really like that at the time.
So tell me a little bit about what collaborations meant to your music and how that's changed your process and what kind of stuff you're trying to make.
It changed, like, everything essentially because I think I still, like, mostly make music for myself, but now it's a lot different where instead of, like, me imagining myself in a song, I'll try to imagine, like, "Hey, could I involve any of my friends on this?" Or, like, "Is there anything I could make that one of my friends could hop on and have a lot of fun with?" And so it's kind of made it, I guess, a lot less lonely in a way because now I can message you, for example, and I know what kind of style you'll like, and it'll be completely different than what I'd ever make for myself. So it kinda, like, puts me into a whole different worlds of what kind of things can I make right now, if that makes sense.
That's really exciting. And also through Goop House, about a month or so ago, I believe, there was Goop Fest. Actually, that might have been 2 months ago now. And that was a concert hosted online through the server and was a huge event with some of the biggest names in music, or at least in the scene, including the wonderful Cat.Flp. So tell me a bit about performing for Goop Fest.
Goof Fest was one of the craziest nights of my life. But I have to go back, like, before Goof Fest because, I knew that there was gonna be a festival. I wasn't allowed to say anything really, but I knew that Frax would be there and I know Umar would be there, so I was, like, super excited. Um, and then one day, Sheeran messaged me, and they're like, "Hey, I have a question for you." And I was like, "What's up?" And, they, pasted the little message, saying, like, what Goop Fest was, and at first I thought they were asking me, like, "Hey, does this announcement sound good?" Because, why would they ask me, right? I think I, like, just hit 100 followers on SoundCloud at that time. So it's like I'm still a very small musician, but then I kept reading, and then I realized they were inviting me to perform, and I was like, "What?" Like, I was, like, very shocked because I'm a very small musician, um, and I actually cried, I can't lie. Um, but it was like I kinda realized, like, this is a really, really huge moment, and it was scary, but I put in, like, a lot of effort into it, especially because I've never made visuals or anything. I had to make visuals as well, and it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of stress, but by the time the day came, it was just a blast, and I loved it, and it felt so cool seeing, like, so many people in chat reacting to all the songs I played and all that, and having people message me saying that they cried, you know? And especially because after Goof Fest, we all went in a little call, and Sheeran gave us little rewards and all that, and I was tied with underscores for making everyone cry. And
Oh,
I also I also saw that Jedwell cried at my set, which was really cool because he's the whole reason I was even in Goop House. And so it was a lot of different things all at once, but it just felt great. It was a very important moment for me.
that's incredible. So, in the latest Goop House collaboration as well, uh, Goop House Volume 4, you released a track that's called I Don't Know What's Next, and we're gonna play that right now. And we're back with Cat.Flp. Thank you for sharing that song with us. That one's
Thank you. I
amazing.
love that song.
So, that was for Goop Week Volume 4. This week, actually, by the time this interview comes out, it will be almost the end of Goop Week Volume 5. Tell me a little bit about what you've been working on there.
Goop Week Volume 5 has been really fun for me so far. I guess I'll tell a little story about it. In Goop Volume 4 on side A, Aliveria made a song called The City, and it was super fun. I've always been a fan of her, and I love that song. And so I messaged her and I was like, hey, can I maybe get the stems for The City? I'd like to remix it or throw it in a set or anything. And they were like super excited for it. And so eventually I asked like, "Hey, if you ever wanna, like, actually collab, like, let me know, because I'd love to make some music together." And she said that, she was in a group for Group Week 5 and could see if I was in it. And that group was with Aloe and Fairy Thing. I wasn't familiar with Fairy Thing until now, but Aloe's really cool, and, Fairy Thing ended up being super, super nice. And, so we've been making a song together. It's very, how do I explain this? It doesn't exactly have a lot of structure. It's very open, a lot of like weird changes and all that, but it's a very, very beautiful song, and I'm really proud of my vocals in it so far. They're very Porter Robinson inspired, and it's just been really fun doing a style that I've never really done before, which is it's very orchestral and just huge sound, and it's very different and new, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it.
That's very exciting. So you talked about being Porter Robinson inspired in this new song. Tell me a bit about some of your other musical inspirations in your sound.
Oh, I have a lot of different inspirations, and it definitely differs depending on what song you're looking at. But I feel like a very obvious influence, if you look at my lyrical content, is I value repetition a lot and catchiness. And that's all because I'm a very, very big Charlie XCX fan. And one of my favorite songs by her is Claws, and the hook is literally like four different words in total. And ever
Great
since
song.
that, I've kind of realized that, I don't need to be, like, crazy lyrical or anything. I can just make something super fun, and that's what a lot of my vocal songs are. They're very, very repetitive, and just I want them to stick in your head, and so that's definitely a very clear influence. But a more general influence for just, like, everything, like, from even just, like, as a person would be Laura Les from 100 gecs. I've been a fan of hers for a very, very long time now, and definitely a lot of her older music, such as her Hello Kitty Skates to the Fucking Cemetery EP. Um, a lot of the writing styles in that have definitely influenced me. It kind of made me realize what writing style hits me very emotionally. And so I definitely take a lot of influence from her. And there's a lot of different artists as well, like Alice Gas or even a lot of people who make music for Yumi Nikki fan games. There's just a lot of different things all at once.
Yeah, when I listen to your music, I definitely get a lot of the Laura Les, Alice Gas, Pedal Supply kind of vibes where it's
Oh, I
very
love Pedal.
ethereal and very upbeat and happy. But I understand that you make a lot of music that's not always in that vibe as well, and you actually have a lot of versatility in your sound. Tell me a little bit about making different kinds of music.
Yeah, I definitely have very different styles of music depending on like where I'm at and what I want to express. And so a lot of people in Goop House might know me for hyperpop or happy hardcore, but a lot of my earlier songs and stuff that I still kind of make in the background is a lot more ambient inspired. And my take on ambient music has always been a lot more pop influenced, where it's a much more repetitive approach at it, where there's a lot of repeated patterns instead of just like a long idea. But it's the same like soft, slow ideas of ambient music. And I feel it very much lets me express feelings that I have a harder time expressing, such as depression or heartbreak. It kinda gives me this, like, nice soft canvas to put that out in a way that I feel comfortable, and I feel that's very important compared to just making fun music.
That's really interesting. I understand another place that you've mixed up your style some is with the collective Bear Club.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're in Bear Club.
I am in Bear
Um,
Club.
Bear Club's great. I honestly I blame Phase Fest for Bear Club because I know, I was performing there, Saint was performing there, and you and Riley were in the audience, and that was actually where I met Saint, and I thought their music was super cool. And yeah, it's been really fun in Bear Club, especially because it randomly just started off a tweet where Saint was just like, "Hey, who wants to be in a collective?" And we're like, "Yeah." Um, yeah, it's just very fun because I've made a lot of new connections that I otherwise probably wouldn't have made, like Lily in the Forest. Because obviously they make, like, just, like, general beats and all that, and that's something I've never really been into, but it's really cool that I can just, like, send just a melody and then it'll turn into a whole beat. So it's definitely opened up a lot of new collaborations and even just, like, the actual Bear Club songs, they're just, like, really goofy and just a fun time to make. It's just very lighthearted, we're all buddies, and it's just a great time.
Absolutely. So I understand that you've also got some other unreleased music coming up. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, we do have some unreleased stuff. Um at Goop Fest, we were encouraged to play Goop House songs in our sets. And so I just kind of like scanned through the albums looking for songs that I remember having a lot of fun with. And one of the songs was a song by Terratype and Bottlnose, I'm pretty sure, called Internet Friends. And it was this really fun, I guess, happy hardcore track, but it was also very pretty at moments. And I was like, I need to throw this in. Like, this is a great song. And I played it in the set. It was right after our song played.
Yeah.
And it was like a little build up and then a Jedwell verse came in and it was really fun. And I remember going on Twitter and seeing Terratype just absolutely freaking the fuck out because I played her song. And it really surprised me because like I mean I guess Goof Fest was definitely a big moment, but like I never really expect people to like really freak out over things I do. But then, I saw this person just completely just in bliss because their song was played, and so I followed her because I was like, "You're cool, I'll follow you." And, later that night, I messaged if she would ever want to collab or anything to hit me up because why not? I always loved collaborating with people, and we started a few days after, and it was a beat that her and Bottlnose started. It's very pretty and doesn't have a lot of structure, but it has a very I think that I like about it is it has very contrasting moments where some of it sounds a bit darker and a bit more frustrated, but then other parts are very soft and happy and uplifting. And I put vocals on it. There's some of my favorite lyrics I've done before, and it's a great song. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it's a great song.
We're going to be playing a little bit from that, or perhaps the whole thing. You'll have to tune in and find out in just a moment. And it's an incredible track. I've heard it. And I'm actually really interested in a lot of the future-based vibes in it that I got. And even a lot of underscore skin purifying treatment era things. It was really interesting to listen to. And I definitely thought that it was really a varied and kind of a journey to listen to. So really excited to play that in just a moment. Anything else you want to talk about before we get there, or do we just want to
Um,
play the track?
I just want to say, like, I agree with everything you said. Like, the underscores influence is definitely there. One of our sounds was definitely inspired by underscores, and I agree with the whole journey thing. When I first heard the final product, I was just like, this is like a whole album in one song. It's beautiful. It's a whole story, and I love it with all my heart.
Well, I'm so excited for y'all to listen. Right now, Cat.Flp, terratype, unreleased.
I can't articulate what's really in my headspace. There's just something in my way that takes away my say. I'll try to say something, but you could hear a pin drop. No matter what I do, I just stop. 3 a.m. and I'm thinking all this bullshit. Wishing it would go quick. I'm so over it. In my head, haunting me like it's ghosting. Wishing it would go quick. I'm over it. I'm so over it. Wishing I could just go to sleep. I don't get it. I think there's just something wrong with me. I don't get it. I think that'll go and stare at my screen. I'm so over it. Wishing I could just go to sleep. I'm so over it, wishing I could just go to sleep. I don't get it, I think there's just something wrong with me. I don't get it, I think that'll go and stare at my screen. I'm so over it, wishing I could just go to sleep. Wish that I could fall asleep to stay there, where my thoughts are never gray and all I have to do is lay there, where things are so much easier, and I don't need to worry. I'm never in a hurry, and everything's okay. 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 If I sleep, I'll forget all of this. It's better in my dreams. And then I won't feel sad no more. I'll be a happy me. In my dreams. In my dreams. In my dreams. In my dreams.
Wow, that's a gorgeous song.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for having me on here. It's been a really fun time. I've never done a radio thing before, so this is a very fun opportunity for me, and I'm very thankful.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Ever since I knew that I'd be having a radio show, you were the first person I had in mind as a guest, and I'm so glad
I
you were willing to
appreciate
come.
that.
Cat.Flp, everybody. Check out at Cat.Flp on Twitter, Cat.Flp on SoundCloud, or on Spotify, wherever you get your music, honestly. Really incredible stuff. Go check it out. We're going to be DJing for the rest of the hour, and make sure you stay tuned in for a little bit more Cat.Flp music and some of the most interesting new songs that we'll be highlighting this week. Thank you so much again, and have a great day.